This episode of the Busted Wide Open podcast is brought to you by Blueberry. Blueberry offers the best media hosting, accurate listening stats, and their all-new PowerPress Deluxe sites. A no-setup WordPress website for your podcast with all the necessary links to share your show with the world built right in. If you currently produce a podcast and are looking for a better host, or if you're looking to start a new one from scratch, head over to orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO and sign up for the best media hosting and a PowerPress Deluxe site to get your first month absolutely free. That's orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO, or just use the promo code BWO at checkout for your first month absolutely free. And now, enjoy the show.
This is the Limitless Keith Lee, and I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open podcast. Mwah.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome back to the Busted Wide Open podcast, but if this is your first time joining the show, I'd like to welcome you to episode number 179. My name is Nick Howell.
And still salty about Survivor Series, I am Sir Ian Dangerous. And
so much so that he doesn't want to be on camera. Something's going on with your camera over there. You're just bent out of shape about you losing at Survivor Series, Sir Ian Dangerous.
I'm salty.
Should we try and fix this real quick for the listeners?
Yeah, fine. I'll call you back.
Have you got your little camera button checked down at the bottom?
Yes, it's checked, Nick.
All right, I'll call you right back. One second. Hang tight, guys.
God, I don't...
Why isn't your video coming up?
Still no love? Still no love.
Still just big blue Skype. Oh, there it is. Whatever you did, you changed something. There we go. Now it's fixing.
Hi, everybody.
It's back.
Hey. Yeah, my camera's working about as well as my Survivor Series picks. If you didn't hear our recap episode, it was a devastating weekend for yours truly. But however, a weekend of triumph for Mr. Nick Howell here, who came away winning 7-3 between the two of us and dominating in the Patrons Pick'ems as well. We all had a lot of fun. Congratulations to our new Patron Pick'ems champ, Brian Average, who took it all, barely edging out our boy Bebosh, who came in a very close second place via a tiebreaker. So, Nick, what an exciting weekend of wrestling, and we saw the fallout this week on Raw. We're going to talk about that. I was particularly surprised that this year Survivor Series actually seemed to have some stakes, even though it was the same thing every year, brand supremacy that doesn't seem to have any real relevance. But yet this year they actually gave it some stakes on Raw, where the fallout may have turned one of the biggest faces in the company heel. And I'm very looking forward to talking about that, Nick. But first, let's do some housekeeping. Now that I'm back online and everyone can see my scrappy little face there, we can talk about some housekeeping and then get into the show.
Yes, guys, be sure you come over and join us in the Facebook discussion group. As always, it is the hub of our operation where you find all kinds of links to everything else that you need to know about the show, as well as some fun memes, polls, watch parties, all kinds of good stuff. It's a great, fun, positive place to be. Just go on Facebook, search for Busted Wide Open, like our page, and send a join request to the group, and we'll get you right in for some good wrestling times. In there, once you get in, you can find a link to our Discord community where we do live chats all throughout the week for every show, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, all of them, and even New Japan, Ring of Honor, and dedicated channels for all pay-per-views like we had for TakeOver and Survivor Series this past weekend. So make sure you're in our Discord channel. Helps us keep the spoilers out of the group so we don't have to worry about that, and Sheriff McDonald doesn't have to get mad at everybody. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at BWO Podcast, streaming live right here on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/bustedwideopen. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the race to 1,000. We're about halfway there. Help us get there by the end of the year, and we might have a fun prize for you. But once you subscribe, make sure you jingle that little bell. Make sure you get notified every time we go live in the future. And throw a like, throw a thumbs up on any of the videos that you happen to come across that you like. That's youtube.com/bustedwideopen. Last but certainly not least, patrons. Thank you very much for all of your support. You guys rule. Thank you so much. Patreon.com/BWO. If you want to get in on the ability to ask listener questions for our weekly patron mailbag episode every Saturday, that is where we do it. We used to do listener questions at the end of every show. You guys might remember that. But now we have it dedicated out in its own series called the Patron Mailbag. Thank you guys so much for being that willing to ask questions every single week. We love doing that, and we hope you're enjoying it as well. And you can find that streaming live here on YouTube as well every Saturday. But Ian, I think we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a lot of fallout. So let's head over and talk straight about the Survivor Series fallout on Monday Night Raw.
So just to check in, Nick, everything's going all right with the technology over there? Everything's back to normal?
Technology.
All right, just checking.
Yes, everything's great.
Just checking. My real name isn't Surrey and Dangerous. It's actually John Connor, and apparently Skynet's out to get me. But that's for another show entirely, Nick. Let's talk about the wrestling.
Come with me if you want to live.
Let's talk about the wrestling here, because this week we actually had a very interesting segment to start off Raw. Seth Rollins had a town meeting. He had everyone gathered around the ring, all the wrestlers, not all the wrestlers, but a good chunk of them were gathered around the ring, and Seth decided to give what started off sounding like a pep talk, but very quickly devolved into Seth Rollins insulting people and sniping at them and telling them that they sucked. It was their fault that Raw was now the C brand and it came in last on Survivor Series. My goodness. Straight up called out Randy Orton and said, hey, Randy, you were supposed to be the guy who had it all together and you were the weakest link. Randy Orton just turns and walks way up the ramp and gives a nice kind of dirty hand signal on his way up the ring that was edited out of the Hulu version if you tried to watch that.
Of all people giving that signal, I don't want Randy Orton giving me that wanker thing.
Yeah, the stroking off symbol, if you will. A little bit too literal there, Randy.
Kayfabe, dude. Kayfabe.
Apparently it's now part of kayfabe.
I guess.
Yes, Randy can't keep his hands off. Anyway, so also Seth Rollins took a shot at Charlotte, saying that Charlotte was supposed to be the leader of Team Raw, but she wasn't even the last person of Raw in the match. Charlotte, of course, had the same reaction as Randy Orton and stalked off, leaving Seth in the ring. He then started taking shots at AOP, saying, hey, you guys weren't even on the show. They took off, and everyone else started following them. As soon as Seth went after Rey Mysterio, saying, you sucked most of all. You couldn't beat Brock Lesnar even with the help of your stupid son. That's when the crowd turned on him, too, going, oh, okay, we're not getting Seth Rollins anymore. Seth Rollins is turning heel, is what it seemed to me. I don't know if it seemed that way to you. Last person left standing, Kevin Owens, who gets in the ring, and sure enough, Seth goes after him, calling him lazy, saying he was possibly on the payroll of NXT. Kevin doesn't say a word, just gives him a stunner, and leaves Seth lying in the ring. We later on had a match between Seth and Kevin. We'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about this first and foremost. Seth Rollins turning heel in this way. What do you think about this?
I think everybody was ready for it. I think we've all professed that it was coming, probably after that Hell in a Cell match with The Fiend.
Just that, or do you think that there was more going on?
This is all that fourth wall stuff of what's going on Twitter. Just Seth kind of just being a general dick to everybody external to wrestling. You know, so we speculated whether or not it was him on Twitter at one point. I'm pretty convinced it is. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, but it's with all the heat that he's getting, and he started getting boos. I can remember the boos starting right around leading up to the Fiend Hell in a Cell match. And then at the match when he was getting all those boos, and then beyond he was getting booed. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Steer the hell into it. Put him in a suit, trot him out, and make him a dick.
Nick loves his dicks in a suit. But here's the thing. If
Dick heels.
they're allowing...
Not dicks.
Hashtag phrasing.
Let's be clear, yes.
I don't know, man. I think you like both. But anyway, the thing about this is that if Seth is allowed to go heel when he was he was like their top babyface for a while there, does this prove he's not the guy? Because they won't let the guys go heel, right? Cena can't go heel. Roman can't go heel. Even Hogan couldn't go heel until he went to WCW. Like, they won't let their top dudes go heel. Does that mean that Seth truly isn't the top guy? He just was the top babyface for a while, but the guy is still Roman Reigns? Is this what this proves?
100%. Totally. I don't know that I ever thought it got close. Like, there was a point where I thought, okay, well, Seth is over AF right now. He might be the new top guy, especially you're going to put him over Brock at Mania? All right.
Yeah.
Especially to open the show at Mania this year. Okay, maybe Seth is the guy after. Nope. Here we are, 6 months later. Now we're turning him heel.
They tried, and I don't know if they had an answer for the kind of reactions that he was getting between their booking and his social media presence. I just don't know if they had an answer for it.
Look, there was part of this as well.
There
was part of this as well that felt very like team captain after a big game loss. Coming in and just kind of rallying up everybody, but everybody taking it the wrong way and just. But it wasn't.
But it was how he did it. It wasn't like you could have rallied them, and if you had been giving positive advice and they had just blown you off, then they're the heels. But he's straight up calling them names and being irrational in how he's criticizing them. So that's really, I think which is why I liked how this built, because first he went after Randy, and Randy has been a heel of late, and Seth saying you didn't play your part. Okay, not really heelish. We can kind of understand, and Randy's a dick, and all right, fine. Then he goes after Charlotte. And then you're kind of like, wait, what? Wait a minute. That's a little irrational. She got taken out by Asuka because she got mist blown in her face. That's kind of unfair. And then when he calls Ray's kid stupid, that's when we knew fait accompli. He is going heel. This is absolutely not how you pep up your team.
You don't go after Dominic. Somebody's
go
kid.
After Dominic. He's a sweet, innocent boy. He doesn't even know who his daddy is.
He just got hurt by Brock Lesnar.
Right. So this is the thing, is that we're seeing a new side of Seth that's based on the Seth that I think has become the public perception. And I think it was put really well on Twitter. Jared actually repeated it in the chat just now, is that Seth on camera has become his social media persona, which is, what I mean? Like, you're playing right into the public perception.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart thing to do. I'm curious to see if they go all the way with this, because as we said, later on he had a match with Kevin Owens. It was a fine match. It ended in a fluff finish with AOP, of all people, coming out to the ring, getting in the middle of the two of them after Seth had eaten the stunner, and it looked like both of them were on the mat. We weren't sure who was going to win. They stare down both Seth and Kevin, who were exhausted in their respective corners. And then Kevin slaps one of them, and they both go after him, destroy him, throw him into the ring post a bunch of times, turn back to Seth, take off their jackets like they're going to fight him. And then as he's screaming, "Come on, come get me," they just back off and leave the ring. At which point Seth stomps Kevin twice into the dirt, and then ends Raw screaming at the crowd. So very interesting. Are we seeing this as being a dip into heel territory for Seth before trying to bring him back as a babyface that has realized the error of his ways and it's a redemption angle? Or are we going full on heel and we're going to have AOP as the perhaps like juiced up versions of Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble?
Absolutely. I think we're getting full corporate Seth here. And it's probably going to go about as well as the Stone Cold turn. It's not going to go over. It's not going to go over
negative
well.
On it.
I'm negative on it.
Why do you think that?
I think it's being executed well, but I think it's the wrong person to do that to. We've always said on this show, WWE doesn't know how to build baby faces, and they got really close. They've done a really good job. Even after everything Seth has been through with turning on the Shield, and 2 years later he still miraculously comes back and pulls this off. He's coming out and beating Brock Lesnar at Mania as a face for the top championship.
Well,
I mean,
but
they still somehow they screw it up.
Well, no, they screwed up his return too, because he got injured. He came back as a heel. If they'd have brought him back as a face, everyone would have been like, they screwed that up. They had to then slowly turn him face, where they could have just turned him face on his return. They've been screwing up Seth right and left. I think they have a chance here to actually make him an interesting heel, as long as we don't go back to chicken shit Seth with his two goons. I think they have a chance to make this an interesting dynamic with AOP. But again, like you, I'm a bit skeptical. But I think they needed to do something. It was just going to get more and more into just nasty territory with him.
Yeah.
Him being called not cool in NXT. Like, I think something had to be done. And maybe it's lucky that he's not the guy and they can do this with him, because there's been times when we've said the best thing that could happen to Roman was turn heel. Cena turn heel. And maybe they're getting the fact that Seth's getting a chance. Well, now we get to see what that would have been like. So,
yeah, but I think you made a really good point earlier, though, that they're not going to turn the people that they consider that important heel.
Right.
But with Seth, we've proven that he can do both really well. And I think they trust him, you know.
I didn't like chicken shit. I didn't like chicken shit heel Seth. It got old really quickly.
Authority Seth, I guess, is what you would call it. That instance of it.
There was a lot of the booking of that kind of they tend to book a lot of top heels as chicken shit, like Kevin Owens when he was Universal Champ. I don't like the way that goes either. So I'll see what they do with this.
So I don't put too much of the persona on Seth though there, because if you remember that, it was all about the Authority, and Kane was involved, and it intermixed with Lesnar there, and there was a lot of other stuff going on.
But it was a lot of him not wanting to defend the championship and trying to find every squirrely way out, and then being weak when he was in matches.
Yeah,
Kevin Owens was the same way. He would be weak in matches. If you'd had that, you had more like an Adam Cole character where he's actually strong in matches, but he's still chicken shit in every other way. That's like the one major big fix, is that he's still Seth Rollins. He's still the guy that beat Brock Lesnar. But now he's also...
He slayed the dragon.
A cheating bastard. Like, that. Now you have my attention. The other question I have about this is, okay, Seth's no longer your top babyface on Raw. Who steps up? Kevin Owens, I think, would be the obvious next choice. But then, who else?
I have no idea.
What else you got? Okay, well, I have an idea, but we're going to have to get to that later on down...
Okay.
This whole thing, because the next thing that came out was Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley came out. We had another Bobby Lashley and Lana segment. Bobby Lashley came out to have a match with, of all people, Titus O'Neil. Remember him?
Who?
This is actually interesting because Titus O'Neil is bigger than Bobby Lashley and actually can throw Lashley around. So for a second, this match was actually kind of engaging to me, because I was like, these are big dudes slapping each other around. Like, I kind of dig this. Titus O'Neil kind of looks like Bobby Lashley's daddy, only he didn't kiss him on the lips. The only way I could tell that he wasn't actually his daddy. But yeah, this was actually I thought an interesting little competition until Rusev came out to break it up. Now earlier in the show, we showed that Rusev had been served a restraining order,
right?
Which is not something you want to think about too much in the terms of logic, because if you have two employees that are serving restraining orders on each other and they both have to come to work, that's a conflict right there that you need to resolve as a good manager of $1 billion company. I'm just throwing that out there as a bit of a logical piece that they had to work on in terms of telling the story.
They're independent contractors, damn it.
Maybe that's what it is. Independent guy didn't show up for his date. He just doesn't get paid, pal.
Right.
So, all right, but Rusev didn't pay attention to that restraining order. He came out and he decided to destroy Bobby Lashley anyway. And destroy him he did. Beat him from pillar to post, up the ramp, onto the announce table, through chairs all over the place. And as he was being taken away by security, ended up shoulder tackling Bobby Lashley off the stage. Bobby Lashley fell through some, constructed piece of padding behind the stage. And then Rusev on the way out toppled some scaffolding on top of him.
As he was being handcuffed and wrangled by real cops.
Like, but yeah.
Those are real Chicago cops. I've seen those cops.
What? Wait a minute.
They were real cops.
What's the story here, Nick? You been arrested in Chicago before?
No, but you go downtown, they're everywhere.
What are you talking? How do you know they're real cops? No, explain this. How do you know
they had guns?
Oh,
they were wearing guns.
Because no one ever has had a fake gun in history.
This is not what we're here to talk about, is debate the merits of what is and isn't a fake or a real cop.
Called out for not knowing they're real cops after you say that they're real cops.
I don't know. I can't prove that they're real, and you can't prove that they're not, so let's move on.
I can say that this is wrestling, and more likely than not.
When was the last time you saw fake cops on WWE that had gun belts on?
I don't know, but I can tell you right now, the last time I saw real cops on WWE was, I don't know, never. So I'm just saying, just because you won Pick'ems doesn't mean you're right about everything.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, whether or not they were real cops, Rusev got taken away by people who looked a lot like Chicago PD and toppled some scaffolding and Bobby Lashley in the meantime, while wearing, by the way, I must say, a spectacular Bloodsport shirt, showing some love for little Ray Jackson there, as played by Braun Strowman's real father, Donald Gibbs. Loving that. Loving that. Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then he posted a picture of it. I guess he had gotten busted open. There was blood on it as well.
Busted open. I think that might have been, it was a white shirt. Again,
yeah.
Something I think might have been staged, but I'm not mad at it because I'm down for any time that someone gets. Nick, are you ready?
Busted wide open.
Self-promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about this segment, dude? What did you think about this segment overall? Like, was this, as far as Rusev, Lana, Lashley segments was this okay? Was this all right? Was this watchable?
Just make it end. I just don't want it anymore. And I went to the kitchen and made a sandwich.
Damn.
I'm over this. And then we find out that Lana signs a new 5-year deal, which we'll talk about later. And you're just thinking, God, is this going to go on longer? Are they just going to keep driving into this, even though nothing positive has been said about it, other than you once 3 months ago, whenever this whole thing started? I'm done with it. I'm over it. I don't want it anymore. I changed the channel.
I don't know. I personally
play on my phone.
If it's going to be on my TV, having this level of destruction happening in it was kind of fun. Not going to lie. I'm not a fan of this whole angle, but this gave me that, like we've talked before about how this angle feels a little bit Attitude Era, not in the best way, but this kind of destruction made me feel like an Attitude Era segment where anything can happen kind of thing. So in that sense, if they must do this to us, at least this was one of the more watchable segments.
Fine.
I guess is what I'm getting at. You've got to accentuate the positive.
I love what they're doing with Rusev.
The negative.
I want him to be a psycho killer. I want him to be just that guy that is not scared of anybody, will go out there and whoop anybody's ass and fight off cops, whether it's for the honor of his woman or his marriage or himself or whatever it is. Just he throws all caution to the wind. That's what I want Rusev to be. Please keep doing that with Rusev. This angle with Lashley and Lana is just, I don't want to see them kissing on my TV anymore. It's gross.
Okay, but did Rusev not just throw all caution to the wind and cause wanton destruction, act like an absolute killer, and get dragged off by cops?
That's what I'm saying that I liked about it. Yes.
Okay.
That's the kind of Rusev I want. I hate
you and I
that
are
it
on the same
involves
page.
Some stupid cheating angle, restraining orders and all that shit. But
yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Aleister Black stuff where, like, just give me Aleister Black killing people. I don't need the rest of the crap.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a second, though. Before that, we have to talk about Randy Orton because we brought him up earlier, and I brought up the question of who else is going to be a face on Raw. Well, to get to this, we got to get through some other plot that leads us to Randy Orton possibly turning face, and that is AJ Styles, who is due to have a U.S. title match with Humberto Carrillo on this episode of Raw. That never happened because the OC came down as Humberto was coming out and laid him out, beat him up till he couldn't compete. And AJ and the OC were gloating in the ring about, now he has no competition. Well, Ricochet was also out checking on his boy Humberto, and he said, how about me? I'll fight you. AJ says, no, I've already beaten you. Out comes Randy Orton. Randy Orton says, well, how about me? I'll fight you. And AJ goes, no. We already had a match under the bright lights of WrestleMania, which was a great line. That was funny as hell. And I beat you there, he says. Not for you, Randy Orton. And then, randomly, out comes Drew McIntyre, who says, you know what? There's someone who's tall, dark, and handsome, and he has a very sexy accent. And he's never had a shot at a title here. How about me? And AJ's like, I'm kind of hurt. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then out comes Rey Mysterio. And so, all right, you get the idea. We got 4 guys out there, and Ricochet then comes up with a brilliant idea. How about those 4 guys have a match? Winner of that gets AJ Styles for the U.S. title. The OC turns on AJ and goes, yeah, it sounds like a really fun idea, AJ. And AJ goes, shut up, guys. God. And we end up having a fatal 4-way for for the person who's going to face AJ Styles. And it was interesting. They did this back-to-back. That was kind of cool. The four-way match and then right into the title match. It was a really fun four-way match. Hopefully you can watch the full edition of it, because the full edition is a ton of fun. The edited version on Hulu cuts out some of the guts of it. That was just some of the best stuff on Raw this week, particularly the segment with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton having a chop off. And it was Drew McIntyre laid some absolute slobber knockers on Randy Orton, and Randy Orton sold him like he'd lost his soul to these things.
You died.
Like the first one, I love how he just kind of took it and was like, I'm good. Oh, no, I'm not. Ah, God damn it.
I can't breathe.
Chops Drew. Drew no-sells it, laughs at him, chops him again, even louder. And it's so loud that Randy Orton acts like he's got tinnitus in one ear from getting chopped so hard. Ricochet tries to get involved and everything breaks down again. It was a ton of fun. The best part was they're going back and forth and Randy just goes, all right, I'll give you a chop back. Eye poke. Ah!
Damn it, Randy.
Oh, beautiful.
I love it.
Newly re-signed DGAF Randy is best Randy.
Yes.
That's my opinion. But ultimately, Rey Mysterio does a small package roll-up on good old Ricochet and wins the whole thing. Rey Mysterio goes on to face AJ Styles. And by God, after interference from the OC being broken up by interference from Randy Orton and AJ eating an RKO, Rey Mysterio pins AJ Styles. Rey Mysterio is your new U.S. champ. Okay, let's unpack this, Nick. Is the U.S. title a booby prize for putting over Brock at Survivor Series? What is the idea behind giving the U.S. title to Rey Mysterio here?
When he came out to challenge and be a part of this whole thing, I went, wait, what? No. You were just challenging for the championship, like the WWE championship. You're going to come right back out and get a... Hang on. Aren't there other people hanging out in catering that have been waiting for this?
Which is why it was good they had him go through a gauntlet to get there. He had to go through a match with two huge guys in Ricochet. So he earned it. It wasn't like he was just gifted a match. It wasn't like, and tonight, Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the U.S. Championship. Why not? So we've asked for them to explain why guys get matches or rematches. They gave it to us here. AJ Styles was tricked into giving this match between whoever wins this fatal four-way. It could have been any of these guys.
Yeah. I want to say something, but I want to say something, but it's mean, and I just don't.
When has that ever stopped you before?
I don't think Rey Mysterio should be as relevant as he is right now.
Okay, that is I was not prepared for that. All right, what? Why not?
Ricochet, Drew McIntyre. I'll even put Randy in there.
You mean all guys that he can now have feuds with as the U.S. champion and make them relevant by facing a living legend?
Ricochet versus AJ or Ricochet versus Rey Mysterio. I want to see more of it. That's my point. Like I've seen everything Rey is gonna ever do at this point. I want to see some new blood. We're in this new era, golden era of wrestling that we're in.
You spoiled, entitled son of a bitch.
I don't want to see the same shit I've been watching for 15 years.
Oh my God. He is in the best conditions he's been in forever. He went away and is in incredible shape and is putting on great matches and going out there and looking like $1 million. And you don't want to see this guy work for the last bit he's probably going to be able to work. We're seeing the twilight of Rey Mysterio here, and to have him be, I'm a point to my Ray mask on the wall here. We are looking at the twilight of Rey Mysterio, and he's still able to put on these fantastic matches. Why would you not want to see this guy go out there and face people like Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Ricochet, and have him do it as a champion? It's why I wanted him to be I thought he should beat Brock and spend 2 months being the champ and get that run. What they said was, nope, not the WWE Championship. We're going to do it with the U.S. Championship. Meaning my logic was not completely unsound. They thought that, yes, we got to strap Rey and have him be some sort of champ here.
I love how this is all about you saving your shitty pick from Survivor Series.
So let's talk about Randy Orton real quick here. Randy Orton comes out and saves this match for Rey Mysterio, and AJ is so tore up about this. He has a segment backstage where he's being interviewed, and he's asked, AJ, what are you thinking right now that you lost the U.S. title? And AJ, who's having way too much fun being heel AJ, by the way, mugs mugs like he can't speak. He's so angry for about 5 minutes, and then barely gets out the words, Randy Orton. So it looks like we're getting.
I love it.
It looks like we're getting Ray versus a bunch of people, and we're getting AJ versus Randy Orton, only with the dynamics reversed. Face Randy, heel AJ. Good idea?
Even AJ not speaking, standing next to a 2x4 with blonde hair and a red dress is more charismatic than... Anyway. AJ Styles is phenomenal. I'm just going to say that. That whole thing, that whole thing backstage just solidified that for me. I absolutely loved this segment. It was better than the matches, and it was better to me than Ray winning the championship. So, is it going to be fun watching Ray fight all these guys? Sure. I hope they continue that. I hope they keep it going that way. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm kind of over it. I want to see some new blood. I want to see some new people get strapped.
Christ.
You know?
Hashtag Wrestling. Moving on to Asuka versus Charlotte. Apparently we're having Asuka versus Charlotte 2, only this time with Asuka full-on heel, not coming off of a massive streak of wins. This was a long match. They gave them a ton of time to work with. You had Kairi Sane running interference on the outside and getting chased off by Charlotte. And I have a couple things to talk about with this one. First of all, are we seeing too much mist? Because Asuka wins this match again, Kairi interference, and then mists the utter crap out of Charlotte. She looked
about twice as much missed.
Holy, she had a mouthful. You could see when she got back in the ring, her cheeks were bulging, and she just covered Charlotte from the top of her head down to her belly button. It looked like Charlotte had been in a Pornhub video with the Incredible Hulk. It was brutal. Hello. So
I had that same thought.
Because it's every finish to a match now.
I had that thought, and then I was just like, no, not yet. Not yet. If they keep it up and it's the finish to every single match ever that Asuka's in from here on out, yeah, it'll be too much. But not yet. But I had the thought. It did cross my mind. We see it 2 nights in a row like that. I'm just like, one's a pay-per-view. One is a turn on the teammate. It's different circumstances. One is an actual match against one another. And should it be considered, I think the bigger question is, should it be considered a weapon/DQ?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the debatable thing that I keep having a problem with. So we'll see. I'm not there yet. I don't think it's too much yet. I'm still having too much fun with it, with Evil Kana spraying poison mist. You know, that's...
I admit, there is a certain nerd part of me that's kind of like, yeah, we're finally getting Demon Asuka. I love that aspect of it, but again, it's too much of it.
Not yet.
It's too much of it. Save
not
it.
Yet.
You can beat
Almost.
people without it.
I agree, save it, but not yet.
Jesus, you are just you win one damn pay-per-view and you have all of the opinions.
I told you guys.
Strange
get ready.
opinions.
This is going to be a long week. I feel
it's gonna be a
so
long
validated
year
after last night.
Oh, 3 months? 3 months till the next time I get to beat you? God damn it.
No, we got TLC in December, but that would never.
But I mean,
really
on the big stage.
Yeah.
On the big stage is where it matters the most.
Into January.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat you on like a weekly show. I want to beat you at the big pay-per-view.
It's Nick Steiner math is be like 6 days, 6 weeks, something like that.
Thank you. At least you're self-aware. All right, but here's the other question I have: is we're seeing Asuka come out, and the trope of the evil Asian wrestler in WWE. Maybe I've seen it too much. Maybe I'm sensitive to it. I'm still bitter that Tajiri never really got more than either evil Asian or comedy foil. Is that the only way that Vince knows how to book Asian wrestlers, is as the evil foreign heels? And he's not really pushing that they're Japanese, but the fact that it's a Japanese team and they cheat to win, as opposed to like when Asuka was a face, he didn't know how to book her. You know, she wins the title and let's take it. Let's have her hold it until Charlotte needs it. Right?
Yeah, I feel like
am I being oversensitive here on this?
No, I feel like we're getting ready to get really strong Asuka with a strap sometime soon, and it might be a build to Mania. I would really like to see Charlotte Asuka 2.0 at Mania neast year.
Okay, but Charlotte's going to go over again. Is it strong Asuka if she has to use Mist to win?
Maybe.
I don't think it is.
I think it's using Mist because you're a heel and you DGAF and whatever
they're using their evil Asian powers to win.
Yeah.
You know, like that's That's what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm being oversensitive to Vince, but again, it's WWE. It's not like I don't have precedent to base that on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's all I'm saying. Is
I mean, it's basically Rusev and Shinsuke and Jinder, I guess, are our examples of all that, right? For our evil foreigner heels.
Modern examples. Yeah, Rusev was definitely the worst example of that with him versus John Cena. We didn't see a whole lot of Jinder a little bit. We went the foreign heel route, but I remember the flag match with Rusev and Cena, which was just painful. Hopefully we don't go there with this. I'm sensing it a little bit too much. I'm probably being overly sensitive to it just because of WWE's history, and I'm still waiting for Kyrie to pull out some salt like Mr. Fuji and throw it in Charlotte's eyes. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So here we have Asuka working singles against Charlotte. We like it when the tag teams work singles in AEW. We like, oh, cool, these tag teams they're getting to work singles wrestlers and as tag teams. That's kind of fun. Do we like that when it happens in WWE, or do we not like it because we know that they're just building up to have tag feuds with singles wrestlers that team up? Like they're apparently building right now towards Kairi Sane and Asuka versus Becky and Charlotte.
I don't want that, but I wouldn't be terribly mad at it. You know me, I don't like that. I don't like the singles getting put together. I don't like how Asuka and Kairi were first presented.
By the way, they have new theme music that's actually for both of them now.
Yeah, I heard it got played at a house show. I think Jared told me that, and then Kairi posted it or retweeted it or something. I don't know. I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't heard. I've been hoping to experience it for the first time on TV.
It's better than the stupid flashing back and forth between their two themes.
Anything be better than that. You could have somebody coming out and playing a Calliope
the Benny Hill theme.
Yeah, exactly.
The cantina music from Star Wars would be better than what they currently have. Imagine Kairi and Asuka coming out.
Your question was, do I mind tag teams having singles matches with other singles? No, not at all. Because look at what we've done with Undisputed Era. We've had a faction, right? But I think if you do it it's tough when it's just a tag team. But if you can build a faction around it and you can have a tag team and a singles wrestler or two, then you can do all of those back and forth. Look at what they're doing with OC, where you've got AJ with the U.S. title formerly, and the Good Brothers back and forth with the tag championships. That all works really well. Is that to say that Luke Gallows can't have a singles match with AJ and Carl Anderson in his corner against a Drew McIntyre? No, that'd be awesome, right? We'd all love that. So why can't we do that with Asuka and Charlotte and be okay with it?
That's what I'm saying is I was okay with Asuka facing Charlotte. I'd be okay with Kairi facing Becky, which she did. I like that. It's just that we know that we're not building towards anything other than Kairi and Asuka versus Becky and Charlotte. We know we're building that because that's going to be part of a fatal 4-way of 4 women's tag teams at Starrcade. We know that's being advertised for TLC. So that's why I'm kind of I'm not as excited about this, because it goes back to the booking of having the singles wrestlers from the tag teams facing each other as you build up towards a tag build. This is classic WWE booking that always just seems like they're treading water as opposed to really trying to build reasons for having a feud.
And you need to get a tag team championship reign strapped around Becky and Charlotte to check that box. And that's what this feels like to me, honestly.
And then we have Becky 2 belts again.
Right.
One last thought on this before we head on. What if Asuka, instead of her music, came out to Goodbye Horses? Just because she does come out kind of a little bit like Buffalo Bill, right? That's kind of the move she's making there. No, she's tucking a little bit less, but
if she had Damian Priest voice and went, "Do you want to fuck me?" I'd fuck me.
You said it. I've lost my F-bombs for the year thanks to Hell in a Cell.
Hey, I was quoting a film. It was Silence of the Lambs.
Thank you for doing that for me.
Yep.
Moving on to Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy finally got some TV time. He had a match against Matt Hardy. Okay. Who says he's had a strange time in his life on Twitter, apparently, because you're out there jobbing to Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, of course, said that he can't wait to fight Aleister Black. Apparently, Aleister can't wait either, because he came out after the match and gave Buddy Murphy a huge kneed the crap out of him, knocked him out of the ring. So it looks like we are indeed getting Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black. Are we excited for this, Nick, or
yes.
have they not built it this well? How do you feel about this?
Well, we've had all of one interaction between them with knocking on doors, and then he didn't answer because he was taking a dump or something, and then he came back later to check again, and he was there. I keep going. I'm the meme of just keep going. Yes, Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, you have my attention. Let's keep going. But no, let it happen. Just let it happen, because that will be awesome. Oh, please make that match happen.
I just want to get them out there and have them shut up.
Yeah.
No more story. Have these two guys get out there and hit each other.
Yes.
And just have a bunch of that. That's
hard.
It.
Just hit each other really hard.
Hit each other hard. That's all.
Yep.
We had Akira Tozawa's farewell tour continued as he put over Andrade Cien Almas. We actually forgot to. Here's how great this has been going. We actually forgot to mention the cruiserweight match on Survivor Series. Lio Rush versus Akira Tozawa versus I don't even know who else there was. That's how bad it was. It was Akira Tozawa versus Lio Rush versus.
I don't even remember.
Oh, I don't either. I was in my car on the way home. Versus Kalisto.
That's right.
Lio Rush retains. This is how it's going for us so far with the cruiserweight division. Ouch. Andrade, though, what's up with his future? Like he's beating Akira Tozawa, who, as we know, is jobbing on his way out the door. Are we keeping Andrade hot for something? Is he going to face Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title? Which is my suspicion. What are you thinking here?
I'm thinking he might be Rey's next opponent. I was thinking that they might take the Intercontinental off of Shinsuke, and that would be the feud that Andrade would go for.
Shinsuke's on SmackDown, Nick.
Well,
real world booking.
You know, none of that shit matters anymore.
It does. They're trying to make it matter again.
Okay.
They're trying to make it matter again.
So anyway, yes, I think Rey is going to be his next opponent. Or sorry, Andrade is going to be Rey's next opponent for the U.S. Championship. I don't think it's going to be Randy. I don't think it's going to be Ricochet. I think it should be Andrade because, one, you drafted him in like the 4th position.
They obviously see value in him.
They give a shit about Andrade, and they've been booking him strong ever since. So do something. My dad used to say, shit or get off the pot. You know? Good old son.
Do something.
Do something.
Do something. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Do something. Yeah, agreed. Do something with him. They're keeping him warm. They have to do this every once in a while. They're also doing it with Eric Rowan, who's still coming out and squashing local jobber talent. Kyle Roberts this week came out with his
What's in the box?
I've heard it's a skunk.
What?
I've heard it's a skunk.
If he pulls a skunk out and like picks its tail up and sprays somebody, I might laugh out of my soul.
Think about it. Like you like if it is a skunk and like you Jake the Snake Roberts, you got Eric the Skunk Rowan, and that's his thing. Like instead of like sicking the snake on people, he sprays them with the skunk. I'm just saying.
Asuka's misting, and you got Eric Rowan running around with a skunk. What even is real life?
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in some skunk mist. No escape from reality.
Poison mist and skunk mist.
That's right.
Oh,
skunk butt. Skunk butt. Last things last. What the hell was up with the commentary on the show, Nick? Vic Joseph and King still alone. No Dio Madden to be seen. Don't know if he's been pulled from Raw or if he's still selling that F5 or what's up. But my God, is it just me or do Vic Joseph and King have absolutely zero chemistry? And having King as a face commentator, color commentator, is that just not working?
No, it's King, and it's I'll echo the same comments I said about JR at Full Gear. I think they're past their prime. And there's newer blood stepping up that's quicker, sharper, faster on their feet, like Excalibur, that are just, and all you're getting out of King is, That's all you're getting out of King.
The only thing remotely kingly. He's like his lines are gone, like his fancy one-liners. He's even like screwing up moves now. He's stumbling over himself.
Moves? He's a color. You know, don't try and call moves.
Because Vic Joseph doesn't know a move when he sees it. I've listened to Vic Joseph screw up moves that I could call.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that I'm the greatest at calling moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mix up a neck breaker and a lung blower.
Hey, he dropped him on his shoulder on his knee.
What a maneuver!
Right. It's an Oshigoroshi.
So anyway,
guys.
hopefully they figure out someone else to stick on third commentary there. I'm loving the work that Beth Phoenix is doing in NXT, but I don't want to take her away from NXT. They've got enough lying around. Lord knows that
is it weird
Tom
that
Phillips
I say
ain't doing nothing
I
right
miss
now.
Renee?
Is it weird to say I miss Byron Saxton?
Yeah. I miss Corey and Byron, that dynamic that they had, for sure.
I do, and Corey's really starting to grate on me without Byron.
Yep.
Without Byron as his foil, Corey is going off the deep end. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Nick, that's it for Raw. Let's head over and talk about New Japan.
Well, guys, we got a Tag League update for you. World Tag League. Some shit changed. Things shuffled around quite a bit this weekend. As most of us were ingrained in TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series, this little thing called World Tag League was happening over in New Japan.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, that little thing, on the road to Wrestle Kingdom here in a few weeks, about a month now. And, Ian, break it down for us. You've been keeping us up to date on the points as things have changed over the last few weeks. Update us on what went down, because everybody's in different places right now.
It's madness. Evil and Sonata are running away with this thing now, which, frankly, I've been dreading. Yeah. They're now 6-0. They haven't lost a match yet. They're in first place with 12 points, followed by the two teams that have taken a loss but still have 6 points as well, and that's Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi, and Juice Robinson and David Finlay. So those top three right there, of those top three, I hate to say it, Evil and Sonata look like the most likely to go all the way through, but that's the most boring option. But it's also the most likely option because there's no one else really looks like a real tag team in here. You've got Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nichols, who are looking pretty damn good at 10 points, 5-3.
Yeah.
That's surprising. They're giving them some love. Tamatonga Tongaloa, the champs, still... they only won one match since then, but they dropped the match too, so they're at 8 points right now. Toru Yano and Colt Cabana.
Boom, boom.
Since the last time we checked in with them, they won a match, so they're now 8 points as well. Rounding out the 8 points, we've got Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer, who have had a major comeback, winning 2 in a row, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima also at 8 points. On the lower half of the scale, and almost mathematically eliminated, Kenta and Yujiro Takahashi, Shingo Takagi and El Terrible, Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma, all with 6 points. With 4 points, you've got 4 different teams, Hiroki Goto and Carl Fredericks, Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, and Hiroyoshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi down at the bottom, 2-6 with Toa Hinare. 6 matches they've dropped. And then finally at the bottom, the two dudes I told you from the top would be putting everybody over, Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi, only have won one damn match. But we've got another week and a half of this. It goes through December 8th. So a lot of stuff could still happen. No one's been mathematically eliminated yet, except for everyone
Nagata
under
and
6 points.
Nakanishi, yeah.
They were eliminated from the second that they signed up for this crap. So
from the moment the bell rang of the first match, they were done.
Kind of saw it coming. It's actually been very entertaining this year. I'm just terrified Evil Sonata are going to win again and challenge for the titles again at Wrestle Kingdom and win them at Wrestle Kingdom again. People have been complaining about Okada winning so much. Evil Sonata as the top of the tag division is probably the most boring thing in New Japan for me.
I would love to have seen Suzuki and Archer run away with this and just murder everybody. Like make a point of it.
Maybe that's Suzuki's match at Wrestle Kingdom. They have a major comeback. They end up facing Tamatonga Tongaloa and put them over at Wrestle Kingdom because Lance Archer's still the U.S. champ. He doesn't have a match at Wrestle Kingdom unless you somehow get Jon Moxley back in New Japan. He's been challenging Moxley online. So that could still be a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick just dropped his nipple flaps. He is now touching his nipples. He's very much interested in this Lance Archer and Jon Moxley thing. They are just below. They're just below frame, but they're slowly inching upwards into the frame right now as he thinks more and more about Lance Archer and, hey, oh, Jesus. So anyway, yeah, that is a possibility, that could make some sense. They're not out of this yet. So I'm not mad at that at all if that is the plan. But that is a little update on New Japan.
Well, thank you very much, Sir Ian Dangerous. And guys, that's ours. Oh, no, wait, we're not done yet. We've got just enough time for our other news lightning round. Beep, 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 beep.
Yes, sir, indeed. Well, you know what? We talked about the Ring of Honor Final Battle coming up very soon. It is indeed coming up very soon. And you know what? Something surprising happened, Nick. We didn't see this coming.
Nope.
Guess who's going to be there? Marty Scurll.
The villain.
We thought that he was giving up his Ring of Honor contract at the end of the month, but it sounds like he is going to have another match. We don't know if this is his final match, if he's doing a favor for Ring of Honor for all the time he's put in there.
Battle. Mm-hmm. Could that be metaphorical in the sense that it's his final battle in Ring of Honor?
Possibly. All I've got to say is he's going out like a pro, giving them one last big match. He's going to be pulling the curtain at Final Battle. The opening match will be him and Flip Gordon versus Bandito and Flamita, which should be a really awesome match. But I'm very curious to hear what he says following Final Battle, because it's going to be about if he's staying with Ring of Honor and re-signing, or if he's going somewhere else, whether that's AEW, likely, or if it's NXT, not likely. So yeah, that's Marty Scurll. Kylie Ray recently put out, people have been wondering why she quit AEW, why she's no longer with AEW, however you want to put it. She recently put out finally put out a statement about this. I'm going to try and read the important part here. Nobody made me leave, she says. AEW took my career to new levels, and I'm beyond grateful for every opportunity and experience that has come along the way, and wish nothing but the best. It's a great group of people who truly love wrestling and just want everyone to succeed. I've always tried to be a good person, but I make many mistakes along the way. I needed to get my mind, body, and soul right with God. I wish I had the answers, but the truth is I don't. We all go through obstacles in life, and we may want all the answers, but we don't need them. It's God's plan, and he has shown me what's truly important in life and to find a blessing in every moment, because in the blink of an eye, everything can be gone. So instead of bashing, let's just love one another and appreciate what we have, or something like that. Lol, sorry, I'm awkward. Okay. So, all right, well, very, very Kylie Ray. Yeah. But basically, yeah, as you can tell from that, wants to get right with God, and that's why she left AEW. Okay, fine, that's cool. Now, that being said, being the classy organization that they are, Ringside News immediately jumped on that and said, no, we demand a better explanation than that. Okay.
You're not entitled to anything.
Yeah, so people immediately jumped on them saying, you guys are trash, as you would imagine. So keep it classy, Ringside News. Keep it classy. And at the same time, speaking of Ringside News, Brad Shepard from Pro Sports Extra, who's often a contributor to Ringside News. By the way, as of this show, we will no longer be allowing Ringside News posts in our Facebook discussion group. I'm done with them. Yeah. I'm completely done with them.
Sheriff McDonald, you now have full permission to delete any posts posted the being Ringside News.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put up a little like rules and regulations of the group so people don't get confused. I don't want anyone getting their feelings hurt because we take down one of your posts. But just if you listen to this here, no more Ringside News, and no Brad Shepard either. Brad Shepard got a big news
we have a Brad Shepard who's a patron, and that's not the same Brad Shepard, is it?
Not the same one, is it?
Brad,
Shepard,
say it ain't so.
Are you in the chat? Is this you? Are we crapping on you?
I hope not.
Hope it's not the same one.
I want to clarify that.
He's been very cool in the chats.
Yeah.
Sheppy.
I hope that's not the same Brad Shepard.
I hadn't put two and two together on that, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, I just did.
Well, if so, you're kind of a dick on Twitter, bro.
Yeah.
He got called out for saying he reported that Lance Storm had been training Dominic now that he was working for WWE. Lance Storm got on him and said, no, I haven't. I haven't even checked into WWE yet, even though I've agreed to work for them. So you're wildly wrong, dude. At which point, Brad Shepard started going off on Lance Storm on Twitter and saying he was washed up and never drew a dime and had no charisma. Because, personal attacks are the best way to respond to being called out on having an incorrect news scoop. All right. In addition, everyone started jumping on him too. Joey Janela said he was awful. Joey Ryan, I believe, called him out. Yeah, it was just there was a big pile-on. Oh, it's a lot of Twitter stories this week in the news. In addition, Eric Bischoff, as you know, last week I reported that he stated that Tony Khan had stormed out of a roast after getting roasted. And that was apparently proven wrong. People who were there were like, no, he left on his own way before that even happened. So you completely called that one wrong. And Eric Bischoff, instead of apologizing, decided to go shoot on Dave Meltzer instead, who quickly shot back at him about how he got that story wrong. Meltzer, of course, recently getting the Seth Rollins talking into the locker room story completely wrong and getting called out on it. It's a madhouse. It's a madhouse, Nick.
Wrestling Twitter
journalism.
is just
Wrestling journalism
absurd.
in general.
Yeah.
Wrestling journalism in general right now. Don't believe anything you hear unless it's been sourced from actual sources. It's all speculation. Even if you hear it from the horse's mouth, sometimes it could be speculation. Yeah. Don't trust anything. Oh my God. Except this, Lana has said that she re-signed with WWE, multi-year, big deal. She said she made a lot of money. Rusev,
it was a 5-year deal. Confirmed is a 5-year deal.
Yep. Rusev will be following soon. To his credit, Brad Shepard did say that this was going to happen. Way to go, Brad Shepard. You flipped a coin, you called it heads or tails, and you called it right. Good job, dude. So Rusev and Lana likely to. Lana did resign. Rusev likely to resign.
Of course, he
probably didn't want to do it at the same time just because of the storyline. Right. I'm imagining, but that's wild speculation. Don't take that as fact. If you're wondering why Mauro Ranallo was not announcing on Survivor Series, we don't have an official story here, and this is actually completely wild speculation again, but it's being reported by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Online that Mauro Ranallo was set off by a tweet that Corey Graves put out. Corey Graves pointing out that during the TakeOver broadcast, Mauro Ranallo didn't give enough time to his co-commentators, Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness, who Corey Graves referred to as a Hall of Famer and a Ring of Honor champion, respectively. The report is that Mauro felt bad about this. We all know that Mauro deals with mental issues. He's got bipolar disorder. He's got a wonderful documentary about it, his struggles with it, his fight with it. And I have tons of respect for the guy for being a public figure in general. But I guess we can now say that Corey Graves is officially one of the Twitter troglodytes that he's always calling out because Corey shot at him, your coworker. And you're instead of going up to him and was Corey trying to start a feud with Mauro? What point was that? Was he just being a dick to try and promote his own podcast? I don't know. I don't have the answers, Nick. What did you take out of this?
My take was that I think he was trying to if you're gonna give constructive criticism to a colleague, don't do it over Twitter. The same criticism I gave to ACH. You could have handled that a lot better, dude. Don't do it on Twitter. Be like, you have infinite access to everybody behind the scenes, and you're going to do it on Twitter. Yeah.
Call him up.
Mauro ultimately ends up deleting his very popular Twitter account where he is uberly supportive of everybody that tweets at him and, thanks him for all of his being out there for mental health and all of that stuff. He retweets and likes everything that I've ever sent to him. Thank you, Mauro. But at the same time, you went in on somebody that has known issues, instabilities like that. You couldn't have just pulled him aside, man. Hey, man, I was listening to your commentary. Just, one little nit. Give some more time to Beth and Nigel. They're really, really good.
Yeah. Instead, he's got a guy. He's tweeting back at a guy named Travis Riley who said, "I just turned on WWE NXT Takeover. How many Chicago rap references has Mauro made so far?" And Corey Graves tweets back at him, "Far, far too many." Here he is going up. Here's the funny other aspect of the story. So before Corey goes off on all this, he retweets a tweet by Frank Shamrock, who's not a guy you want to mess with to begin with. And Shamrock's put out a post that says, "Social media has made too many of you comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the mouth for it." Now, Shamrock retweeted that from Ice-T, and then Corey Graves retweeted it too. And the greatest thing was Shamrock then tweeted back at Corey Graves that he was going to be leading Mauro to the ring next time Mauro came out if Corey Graves wanted to be around somewhere. So 7 sorts of irony and good Lord and cringy. Oh God. And Mauro, if you listen to us, which at some points I think you did, because he shouted us out a couple times. Yeah. But Mauro, dude, feel better. Yeah, you got all kinds of love coming from us. Don't let the haters get you down, brother.
Love you, man.
And Corey, calm the hell down, dude.
Yeah. Dude, shut up and do your job. Leave everybody else alone.
His job is not to shut up. That's the thing. I understand wanting to get out there and be controversial, but at the same time, you can do that and still be supportive to your coworkers who need your help.
He misses Byron. That's what it is. Cole can be a little boring.
He can't. Yeah, he doesn't have anyone to beat up anymore, so he's got to beat up poor Mauro.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Right. You're gonna go in on Mauro of all people.
Yeah, you're turning into JBL Part 2, Corey. Yeah. Don't be a JBL.
Yeah.
Don't be a don't be a dick is what you say, Nick.
Yeah.
I say don't be a JBL.
All right.
So here's another one. What is IPWF?
Huh?
IPWF.
I have no idea.
No?
I've never heard
Have
of
you
it.
have you not seen this before? Impact
Is this
Provincial
something to do with
Wrestling.
the Midnight Express?
Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation. No, it's not. Kind of, but long way around. Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation is happening tonight. In fact, what time is it? It may have already happened. It is. Impact is breaking kayfabe for one night. In fact, they're going next level on kayfabe, and they're doing what I can only call a Southpaw Wrestling reactionary show that's going to be very NWA Power-like. They're doing a throwback retro episode, completely out of timeline. Everyone's playing different characters, and they are going to be doing this tonight. It's called the Throwback Throwdown. It's going to be a 2-hour out of continuity, like weird retro episode. You've got people playing completely different characters. You've got the Intercontinental Commonwealth Television title is a loser leaves town match between Julian Cumberbund, which is played by Ethan Page, versus Downtown Daddy Brown, played by Willie Mack.
Brilliant.
You have a blindfold match between Gama Singh. Sorry, excuse me. The Suplex Sultan, Gama Singh, versus the rough and tumble cowboy Colt McCoy, who's played by Eddie Edwards.
Brilliant. I'm in.
You have the Body Slam Challenge, which is you're trying to body slam the Wild Man Congo Kong. If you can body slam and you claim $3,000, which is going to be one of the participants is the King of the Great White North, Muscles McGee, which is Brian Cage.
Yes,
playing a Canadian. I saw him coming out with a Canadian flag, and Golden Boy Mr. Atlantis. I don't know who's playing him. You have an 8-person battle royale, which is looks like a women's match. It's Georgia Cobb, which will be playing by Jordan Grace, Ladybird Johnston, played by Jessica Havoc, Mildred Moore, played by Alexia Nicole, and Blanche Ardmore, played by Tessa Blanchard.
Nice.
Versus the mighty Ontario Oak, Tim Burr, played by Josh Alexander, the man who puts the physical in physical education, Gymnasium. Gymnasium.
Womp womp.
Played by Dez. You got the Architect of Pain, Bill Ding, Trey, and race car superstar Ray Strack, played by Zach Wentz. Oh man,
you had me at loser leaves town match.
Right. Gutter Punk grappler Rip Razor, played by Ace Austin, versus Pizza Boy pugilist Rapid Delivery Pete, played by Rich Swann.
What?
It just goes on and on and on.
I'm in.
This sounds like a ton of fun. Special interview segment, The Cockpit with Captain Joystick, played by Joey Ryan.
Brilliant. Is he going to be in a pilot's uniform too? That would be just awesome.
DJ Too Large, played by Moose. And finally, you will get to see Sammy Callahan playing none other than Jim Cornette. Tennis racket and all.
Oh my God.
All happening on Access TV tonight.
Oh, so it's not on YouTube. It's on cable.
It's on Access. Access, recently purchased Impact, so they're
right. I got you.
This is their way of driving viewers there. And you know what? They may be jumping on the NWA bandwagon. They may be jumping on the Southpaw bandwagon. I don't care. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does.
This sounds spectacular. I'm all aboard.
This sounds like a show we were raised on in the South called Hee Haw, where it was basically a bunch of skits. And yes. I'm all in on this. So I think this is. You had me at Southpaw Wrestling, loser leaves town, and blindfold matches. They're all built around stakes. What do we always say? That's where the fun is, right? Outcomes. Have an outcome for something. Anyway, yeah, I'll definitely be watching this. And if there's a way we can watch it, I'll have to see if there's a way it's going to be on YouTube or something like that.
Look it up.
And we'll do a watch party or something like that for it later this week. We'll see.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
WWE applied to trademark Sasha Banks. WWE applied to trademark Barely Legal and CyberSlam this week.
What?
What do those sound like?
Porn sites.
Where is your mind, sir?
Barely Legal?
CyberSlam? Those are ECW pay-per-view. Nick, god damn it. Stop playing with your nipples and get back into the show. Come on, man. Those are ECW pay-per-view names, and they're applying to trademark ECW paper. Good Lord. Porn sites.
I was in the PG era when you said WWE and barely legal in the same sentence. I got really scared. It completely slipped my mind that those were ECW pay-per-views. Okay.
Yes. All right. Who are the Rock and Roll Express, Nick?
Yeah. Okay. Just move on.
Moving on. Speaking of rock and roll, Rocky Romero has recently said that LA will be to the U.S. what Tokyo is to Japan for NJPW. So in other words, NJPW is looking to plant their flag in LA, and your boy who lives in LA can only say, "Oh hell yeah!"
Yeah.
A little more Twitter news: Dave Bautista and Dana Brooke, both recently announcing that they're single. Bautista announces that he's single. Dana Brooke puts it out there that she's also finally ready to get over her boyfriend who tragically passed away from eating chicken, and that's not a joke. That's legit. He literally choked on chicken trying to bulk up for a bodybuilding competition, which is just insane. It's seven sorts of insane. But she's put out there that she's finally ready to get back and mingle in the scene. And they have been really awkwardly flirting at each other for the last 24, 48 hours, where Batista's literally posting a picture of himself with a really nice car in a nice suit and a hat. And he just says, "Sup," to Dana Brooke. It's been really weird and awkward, and I can't get enough of it. This is my Total Divas. You watch Total Divas. I'm watching Dave Bautista and Dana Brooke.
I
planning
watched Total
to bump
Divas to do
Twitter.
research for the show to get backstory for why some of the things that are... Okay. What have I said about Twitter?
I didn't say
Stop doing stuff on Twitter.
I didn't say anything to them this time. I'm just
not
watching
you.
from the
I'm just talking about
sideline.
in general.
Oh, okay.
That's worse than Tinder. Trying to find somebody to date on Twitter.
But it's way more entertaining to the rest of us.
All right, fine.
So we know Thanksgiving's coming up later this week, and to everyone in the United States, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We hope you have a wonderful one. Eat a lot and hug your family if you still like your family. If you don't, or you're like me and you don't go home for Thanksgiving and you're actually working Thanksgiving evening, just hope you eat a lot.
Yeah.
So here's a Thanksgiving news moment for you to nearly close out the show. Hector Guerrero, the man who played the gobbledygooker from the famous Guerrero family, Hector Guerrero recently came out and said, "For all of you critics out there, I'm not brown-nosing to anyone, even Vince McMahon, but the gobbledygooker was a good thing, and the author of that idea deserves to be left alone. That was meant for the kids, not for the adults that booed it." To which I say, you know what, Hector? As the man who played the gobbledygooker, I understand why you have a horse in this race, and more power to you, brother. Whatever you have to say to keep yourself from crying yourself to sleep every night, that's fine. I'm just going to let you know, as a kid who watched the gobbledygooker come out, it was not cool. Nobody liked it. None of the other kids I knew liked it. No kid I've ever met liked it. And no one who was a kid around that time liked it. Nobody liked that. Nobody thought it was cool. It may have been for the kids, but the kids rejected it as well, my friend.
Yeah.
Nick, no, you weren't a gobbledygooker fan?
No, we don't need any more eggs. We don't need any more gobbledygooker turkey costumes. Just no. Just stop.
I mean, maybe as a joke. Whether the gimmick battle royale and the gobbledygooker came out, that was fun. It reminds us all of how bad it can get.
Yeah. And it also reminds me, we had the debut of the Stone Cold show, the Broken Skull interview, hangout, whatever the hell, next Stone Cold show that's out there.
If y'all haven't watched that, watch it.
It's a 2-hour just encyclopedia of Stone Cold and The Undertaker just telling stories of the
Undertaker's real voice freaks me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear. It's weird.
But he talks about how he got the first call from
Vince
McMahon, and he's like, "I'm gonna be Eggman."
Yeah, it was.
When I think of gobbledygooker, I think of the Eggman thing. I think of he's gonna come out of an egg.
Instead, he came out as a giant ham hock.
Yes.
Talk about two guys who were given two opposite gimmicks at the same show.
Yeah.
And how the trajectory of their careers went. Good Lord. Well, finally today, Nick, on the show, a little something special. This is our week of Keith Lee. After his incredible showing at Survivor Series, we'll be playing our Keith Lee bumper all week long to open our show. We're throwing out massive love to the big man, who we've been fans of for years and years and years, have followed his career. We think he's absolutely wonderful, and we have much love for Keith Lee, both as a human being and as a wrestler. And just saw something today from the boys at Cultaholic, specifically Tom Campbell and King Ross. I can't call him King Ross anymore. Sorry, Ross. Just Ross. Ross Tweddle. Ross. Let's call him Ross. Ross on wrestling. Tom and Ross were watching Survivor Series, and they have a new chant for Keith Lee that I think is, we got to make a thing.
Yeah.
It's my new thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put this over right now. Nick, if you would with me. I think you know how this goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't you forget about Keith. Don't you forget about Keith. When you bask in his glory. This has to happen every time Keith's in the ring. Bask in his glory, and then we have to do don't you forget about Keith.
I want
seriously. That's
Keith
amazing.
Keith Lee. I want
you can
that
have
to get
all
over.
of them. You can have
Yes.
Keith Lee matches aren't going to be 10 seconds. You can do all of the chants.
Yes.
We can do all of them.
You can never do a CM Punk chant while Keith Lee is in the ring, though. You are not allowed.
Which chant?
Chicago.
Oh,
CM Punk chant.
There was a lot of those this week, but it's because he's back on TV. They were in Chicago, and Seth is beefing with him, which he got in trouble for apparently backstage, allegedly.
Yeah, if you had told me 5 years ago, after Pipe Bomb, post Pipe Bomb, that in 2019 Seth Rollins would open an episode of Raw, and the first thing that he would talk about was CM Punk.
Nick.
In Chicago.
Nick, you're forgetting about something.
Don't
you forget about Keith. Don't you forget about Keith. And that is the news.
Well, thank you very much, Surrey and Dangerous. And thank you guys for hanging out with us for this long night of the recaps of the wrestling, especially those of you on YouTube and in the chat. You guys were very lively tonight. Thank you very much. If you guys want to come hang out with us when we're off the show, you can come over to Facebook, search for Busted Wide Open, like our page, and send us a join request to get into the group, where you can find all kinds of fun stuff, such as memes, news stories, no more ringside news. I know who you are that always posts them.
Brad Shepard, our Brad Shepard. Please tell us you're not the same as the Brad Shepard.
Please confirm that.
Please confirm. I'm so worried. You seem cool.
Yeah. But yes, you can also find a link to our Discord community in the group. They're saved at the top, pinned to the top. So make sure you get into the Discord community for live chats across all shows all throughout the week, as well as our dedicated channels for pay-per-views that are archived. You can actually go back down, scroll all the way to the bottom left column, and you can see all of the pay-per-views that we have in there and go back through all of the different conversations we had through the pay-per-views. It's a lot of fun to relive some of those moments in there, so I'm glad Discord saves a lot of that stuff. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at BWO Podcast. Make sure you're following us on both of those. And thank you to all of our patrons. Patrons, thank you so much for this amazing weekend that we had with you guys doing the pick'ems for Survivor Series. The
mostly
great conversations.
Mostly amazing.
Yeah, well,
I say as I
Ian
take
drank
another drink of
himself
whiskey.
into oblivion, as he's continuing to do at this very moment.
I'm
if you're
numbing
watching
myself.
on YouTube. Yeah.
Numb.
And then last but certainly not, if you want to get into some of that action, you can head over to patreon.com/BWO, but you guys already know all that stuff. And if you want to watch us and follow us on YouTube, we would greatly appreciate it. We are on the race to 1,000 subscribers right now, trying to get there so we can do even more fun, interactive stuff on YouTube, but YouTube gates a lot of that stuff with arbitrary numbers and metrics and stuff. So get us to 1,000 subscribers and a lot of cool stuff happens. YouTube.com/BustedWideOpen is where you do that. Drop a like on any of the videos that you enjoy and make sure you subscribe and jingle that little notification bell so that you get notified anytime we go live or post new videos, which we are working on doing quite a bit more of. But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And my name is Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But my God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.